So we talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
we talk about a lot of different stuff, man. Some stuff that can be really personal.
Yeah.
Some stuff that can be difficult.
Oh,
you know?
very, very much so.
Right. We love this. Why is it so difficult to have those conversations with family?
Oh, specifically with family?
Yeah. Why, even when you and I wake up every morning and just get really excited about this stuff, we love to do it. We'll plan it out months in advance, Why do we still struggle when we have those conversations with family? Because I know both of us have had those experiences, and there's something that's different about it. And I don't know, what is your experience with that?
Well, you and I specifically go for challenging conversations. We don't like to, I don't think either of us do small talk very well. We would much rather be challenged.
Yeah.
We'd much rather challenge someone else in just about any capacity and just about over any topic. And because we hang out in that area and we want to challenge people and be challenged, it's much easier to do that when you don't have a personal relationship with the person. Yeah. When it's somebody that's really close to you and that you really care about, you tend to have a bit more of a lighter touch. You handle that conversation a bit more delicately than you would with just some random person that, is engaging you in a challenging conversation. You don't,
Sure.
And is that good or bad? I don't know. I feel like it's natural. It's normal, because I have family and friends that are very close to me. And when we've had some difficult conversations, I have gotten to the point where I've said, look, you mean more to me. This relationship means more to me than being right or wrong on this topic. I would much rather just not even talk about it again. And you and I can talk about everything else in the world, things that we both like and enjoy and activities we enjoy together. But that relationship means more to me than making sure that you believe the same way that I do about XYZ topic.
Really, really making sure that the connection that we've built isn't lost because of this one conversation. Whereas with a complete stranger, you don't have that kind of baggage that is making it more difficult for you to, approach these topics. That's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't just have, you and I spend a lot of time having religious discussions with various people, but it doesn't just have to be that. It could be political discussions.
Yeah, sure.
Right now, the country is very divided politically. And so it would be, it's obviously a lot easier to go to a protest, let's say, and protest some idea that you're opposed to. That feels a lot different than sitting across the table from someone that you've known your entire life, but has a different view than you do. You wouldn't behave the same at that protest as you would in a one-on-one with that person that you've loved all of your life, but you guys have different opinions on things. You behave differently in those situations. And that doesn't mean that you should go to the protest and, try to form some lasting relationship with all of these different people. You can just, it's not that critical. You can just
There's a
voice
time
your
and place.
opinion, but there are times where, at least for me anyway, where the relationship means more to me than being right or wrong on some topic.
Yeah.
And I value people more than that.
Do you think there's a little bit of that concern that the other person will reject you? Not so much that I'm going to say something about my beliefs that upsets the person and hurts the relationship that way, but maybe just that if I say this thing, they'll look at me differently now, and they won't care about me as much, or won't want to spend as much time as me. Do you think that plays into it too?
I'm sure it does. especially say the younger you are, the more dependent on your parents or your network, that could certainly play a huge role and could definitely stifle some conversation. And there's even certain communities where when you voice opposition to certain beliefs or
sure.
dogmas that you're outcast or shunned or that kind of thing. So that those types of situations would definitely keep somebody from having an open, honest conversation with somebody. And honestly, if you're the type of person that would cast somebody out or shun them if they didn't believe exactly like you did, you should probably think about that a little bit. You should probably reconsider your position there.
Yeah.
You may even want to go out of your way to let those around you know that you love them, whether or not they agree with you 100%. Again, if they're not hurting anybody or they're not treating people poorly or themselves poorly, not everybody has to believe exactly like you do.
Sure.
And not everyone has to believe exactly like I do. So that's the beauty of it. Now, I do think the more independent that someone is, and the less reliant they are on that network or a certain individual,
Right.
the more freeing it can be to let everybody know what your opinions are, regardless, because you don't depend on that person for your well-being or your safety or your, anything like that.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm sure that's a factor in a lot of these relational conversations, and how free people feel to voice their opinions.
Sure.
So
I've had some people say they think it's rude in family situations, in these kind of private, intimate kind of moments, right? With family sitting around the dinner table or something. They've said that it's rude for the non-believer, for the skeptic, for the atheist to say, well, I don't believe in God, or I don't think that an afterlife is real, or I don't think Jesus resurrected from the dead or whatever. Do you think it's rude? Do you think it's crossing a line to tell those close relations in our lives those types of things when they say, "Hey, Gary, my faith is important to me. My belief in God is really central to who I am in my life." You know, is that wrong? Should we not tell people that we have these beliefs or lack certain beliefs?
What do they say? You shouldn't talk about at Thanksgiving: money, politics, and religion.
Sure. Right. All the things I want to talk about.
I know. So it depends a little bit on the situation. Like for instance, Thanksgiving, you're going to see, uh, probably family that you haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to spend day after day together. You're just together for that day. Just in that type of a situation, I would say just enjoy the day. Not every conversation has to be a hill you're willing to die on, or
Sure.
that kind of thing. My parents are strong believers. I'm not. So when I go to their house and they, we're getting together for Thanksgiving, and they want to pray before the meal. I don't believe in prayer. I don't believe in a deity, but at the same time, I don't have to take that opportunity to like make a stand or,
Sure.
what does it affect me?
Right.
When I go in people's homes that don't wear shoes in the house, not everybody wears shoes in the house.
Yeah.
Some people take them off at the door and they don't wear shoes in the house, or they have inside shoes, outside shoes, that kind of thing. If I go to somebody's house that's like that, and I'm aware, I'll take my shoes off when I go to their house, even though it's not my practice. I'm just respectful. I think when you're comfortable enough in your beliefs, you can be respectful of other people's beliefs, and you
Yeah.
don't have to make them believe like you do.
Yeah.
And just because somebody else believes a different thing, that doesn't mean that they've done something to me. Just because I witness a prayer, I don't feel attacked or in some way unappreciated or
Right.
something like that. Now, would I do that? Probably not. I would hope that I would be aware of, what do they say, read the room.
Yeah.
I would hope that I would kind of read the room and respect everyone's beliefs.
Sure.
But that's the reason why I take my shoes off at certain people's houses. Why I'm happy to sit while you pray, and I'm not gonna like make a stand.
Right.
And, that kind of thing. So
Now, is there a time to do that? Is there a time to make that stand? Is there a line that is crossed in some of those situations by family members that, as a non-believer, as an atheist, as a secular person, like, yeah, no, I am gonna stand up and push back on this? Do you think there's a line in those kind of family intimate moments where, hey, you know what? I know I haven't seen you for 2 years, Uncle Phil, and I probably won't see you again outside of this hour, but man, I gotta tell you something. Do you think that there's ever those kind of moments?
I'm sure there could be.
Yeah.
I haven't run across those. I don't know. I guess it would depend on how much I valued Uncle Phil and whether I was really interested in spending a lot of time
Sure.
with him and finding out whether or not he agreed with me on something. Or if I thought that he was going to use that belief, be it about what we haven't specified, but if he was going to use that belief and then act in such a way that would affect other people.
Yeah.
At those, that may be a point where I say, hey, is it okay if we discuss this a little bit?
Right.
Can we talk this through a little bit? That could be around voting and elections. And, if you're concerned that somebody based on a belief is going to vote a certain way and it would cause legislation to be passed that would affect large groups of people, I could definitely see that being a time for some conversation. And I guess it would be situational in terms of whether or not those differences of opinion would be relationship killers or not.
It seems to me it oftentimes is very dependent on the likelihood of demonstrable harm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the lower that likelihood is, the more comfortable you are with saying, hey, look, we may disagree, but I'm really not going to fight you on this one.
Right.
Is that kind of
right? And it's not that I don't love to fight.
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
if somebody wants to argue about something, I'm the first one there.
Absolutely.
I love it. But I recognize that about myself, and so I'm not trying to. Yeah, everybody else may have just showed up for Thanksgiving and just wants to have a good meal with family they haven't seen in a long time.
Right.
They may not want to have every word that they say picked and prodded to say, hey, based on that, do you believe X, Y? They're probably not there for that, and so I'm not gonna. Again, read the room. If they're there for that, I've got no problem showing up for those conversations and I don't mind being picked and prodded at myself either.
Right.
I want my beliefs to be evaluated, and if somebody believes something differently than I do, by all means, point that out.
Yeah.
And I'll honor the conversation, and then I'll do the same. But when people aren't there for that, I don't have to. I don't have to do that everywhere that I go.
There's a time and place for these conversations.
Yeah,
but it's not every time and every place.
No. Choose your battles.
Yeah.
And